Hey, everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the 2022 Arnold Classic Brazil, happening this weekend in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Joining me, of course, all the way from the United Kingdom, please welcome Giles Tiger Thomas. What's up, Giles?
Hi, everyone. All the way from all the way from the Yorkshire countryside, not Leeds, mate.
Yeah, so my apologies to both you and the people in Leeds, whoever was offended by that. You never know. Arnold Brazil. Man, this is a show with only one IFBB Pro League division, which I'm always refreshed to see when it's that, and it's open bodybuilding, open men's bodybuilding. And that's all we have. We have just open men's bodybuilding, and someone's going to walk away with that title. And I think that someone is going to be the best open bodybuilder in Brazil right now, Rafael Brandao. I suspect you agree with me on this one, Giles.
Yeah, I mean, it's never a foregone conclusion, as we know. I mean, you don't want to count your chickens, but because Rafael originally was supposed to do the Arnold in Columbus, yep. And I was really disappointed because that's when all the names started to drop out. Nathan couldn't get there or whatever, I forget whatever reason, and who else dropped out? There was, obviously Cedric dropped out, and there was a load of them every single week. The lineup was getting weaker and weaker. And I was thinking, well, why is Rafael pulling out now that names are dropping out? Because surely this would be the one to, but obviously I'm guessing maybe a little bit of pressure from sponsors. It's on his home turf. It's probably going to be very good for his sponsors for him to be there, to see him win. So I guess it was kind of a smart move, because if he'd have done the Arnold, and then, I mean, how long ago was the Arnold? How many weeks was it now?
Ooh, like 8, I want to say. It's been a while. It seems like.
Yeah, so he'd have had to stay on prep a long time. So probably in hindsight, looking back now, I mean, it probably was a smart move that he shut it down and just get ready for this one. Because even up to a few weeks ago, I was thinking, I think he's one of these guys that comes in right at the last minute. He's kind of like Justin Rodriguez. You know, he kind of seems to just come in, like the photos that from, like, say, weeks 4 to 2, he seems to the magic just seems to happen. And I'm seeing him just looking so full and grainy and dry and detailed. Thing is, I want to see if he's done what, say, Samson did from Prague to the Arnold, because in that 4 months, Samson put on 10 pounds and completely transformed his physique and went from like a, second level pro show winner to like top four Arnold Classic and, really belonging. So it'd be interesting to see if Rafael, because obviously Rafael, they were like kind of 1 and 2 doing the same shows at Prague and obviously Romania, which was Rafael Brandao's first pro win. I was there. I did a kind of quick little interview with him on stage. I was doing the live stream. Yeah. And it'd be interesting to see if he made those, even just a small significant improvement from there, because honestly, he looked absolutely fantastic in Romania. And it'd be interesting to see, with guys that have kind of, like the Regan and Samson around that, who were competing around that time. Be interesting to see if he's made those kinds of improvements. I doubt it, but I'm guessing he will be a couple of % improved. But I'm a huge fan of Rafael. I was there at his pro debut in San Marino 2017 when he took 8th place. He was 24 years old, and he's still only 29 years old.
28.
So, sorry?
I think he's only 28. Somehow he's been stuck at 28.
He's around 20. I mean, he's under 30. So, yeah. And he's a guy who said, I mean, I had him on Globe Muscle a few weeks ago, and he said he's someone that likes to make very, very slow, gradual improvements. And that's exactly what he's done in this last couple of years. And he's managed to retain those aesthetics, retain the the beautiful shape. And I think he's one of the new guys, like I said, like the Regans, the Samsons, the who's the other one? Who kind of bring in aesthetics to the Open. So for me, he's the kind of the odds-on favorite to win this.
Yeah, he's looking fantastic. He is going to be a little heavier. I interviewed him a couple weeks back, and I didn't realize when he turned pro, when he did that San Marino show, he was only about somewhere between 215 and 220, he said. And
really?
And when he won Romania, I think he said he was like 254, something like that. And he was thinking of probably going to be closer to 260 for this. So he has been able to make some improvements.
I was told at the time he weighed 245 on that show.
Okay.
He's added at San Marino in 2017. I was told he weighed 245.
Oh no, not at all.
Total bullshit. I was also told that Hadi weighed 212 in that show as well, and I think that's bullshit as well.
So that was a pro debut for both of those guys, that one show? Wow.
No. That wasn't Hadi's pro debut. I think it was Hadi's first open show, and then he came second to Cedric and beat Brandon. And I mean, I've talked about the show 1,000 times.
True. Well, it was quite a show. So, all right. Well, Rafael, and this is actually the first time he's done the Arnold Classic Brazil, because it's he didn't do it in 2018, which is he could have done it, I guess, at then, but that was the last time. 2019, he did the U.S. Arnold. And then there was no Arnold Brazil that year. I think it was held by the other IFBB organization briefly, once or twice. Yeah, the other, he whose name shall not be spoken. And then of course COVID prevented it for 2 years. So yeah, he definitely wanted to do this show for all the Brazilian fans, and he took second there, I think, to, I can't recall who it was offhand now. He placed highly. No, he didn't take second. He saw all these other guys from other countries winning it, like Kuklo and Cedric, and he's like, man, a Brazilian guy needs to win this show. And so, well, looking at this lineup, most of them are from Brazil, so it's very likely Brazil is going to keep the title right there in Brazil this year. So,
aren't you surprised though that some of the why didn't Akeem jump in this? When he got COVID for the Arnold, why didn't he think, all right, okay, they'll need to have a couple of weeks to regroup, and then I'll do a 6-week prep and I'll go to the Arnold Brazil. They have missed that. They've literally handed this to Rafael.
And I mean, not for nothing, but the Indy Pro is 2 weeks from today. The New York Pro is 3 weeks. So it stands to reason that there's people that are prepping for that they're probably right about where they need to be, and they could have jumped in too. But I know. They didn't want to go down to the lovely nation of Brazil and try to get that title. Maybe there's So other Brazilian guy who you've had him on your show a couple times, Global Muscle, I think, William Martins. I didn't realize how big this guy was till I started creeping on his IG. My goodness. Some of his shots, like his side chest, just so thick, so huge. Man, those hams, the quads, everything's just monstrously big. So I didn't know how he had done. The only shows I could find that he had done recently, he was third
in Portugal and 7th at Puerto Rico last year.
Correct. So has he only competed twice as a pro, as far as you know?
Yeah, I think it was his pro debut last year, because he did, like I said, he got 7th at Puerto Rico and looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Then he went to Portugal and took 3rd, and was it Andrea Presti won that?
Correct.
I think who was 2nd? I know that Vlad was 4th because he was really disappointed. And 2nd, I can't. My mind's gone blank. But I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago on Global Muscle, and I think at 4 weeks out he was 130 kilos.
It's about 270 pounds, roughly.
288.
Oof, even better. Good Lord.
Yeah. So he's like I said, like he said, I think his side chest is one of. I think it really. I'd love to see him and Akeem doing that side chest next to each other, because they've got both legendary side chests. But honestly, I think this guy is he's an absolute, he's a champion waiting to happen, this guy, because for me, he needed to bring his back up. And I spoke to him a few weeks ago, and he said that they've been doing 2 sessions for back a day. I think they do more, they do back in the morning and they come later, they do back later in the day. I'm sure that's what he said, because I said, did you steal that off Jay Cutler? Because I knew Jay Cutler used to do a width day and then he used to have a thickness day.
Yeah.
But I think they both do it on the same day. It's an interesting way of training. But I said, look, last year, for me, you were just missing a really, really good back, because he's got quite high lats, and his frontal bicep was spoiled because his lats were high and they weren't. Do you know what I mean? When you just think, like Brandon Curry does that frontal bicep and the lats just curve out beautifully. He's kind of got these little lats at the top, and it kind of spoilt that first pose, So, but him and Miguel said, he says, no, my back is really, really drastically improved this year. We've really gone to town on it. We knew that it was a weakness last year. And to me, that's all he was missing, because he's really, and it looks like he's not giving too much away on his IG, but it looks to me like he's really nailed the condition as well, because he's not just a big guy. He's very, very well conditioned as well. And he's also got it's funny because he said on the show, he said he had weak legs. And I'm like, actually, I think your legs are absolutely phenomenal. So, but he said he's really gone to town on the legs as well this year. So I'm excited to see how him and Raphael stack up against each other. Because honestly, I know we're saying this is a foregone conclusion for Raphael, but I'm telling you what, I think it's going to be very, very close between these two.
Well, you could see that. I can already tell he carries more mass than Raphael.
Yeah.
He might get into better condition because, we don't know until we see them on stage. So I've seen shows where the guy with the superior shape and structure and all that sometimes gets edged out by a guy who's got more mass and just comes in shredded to the bone. So yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion. Now,
don't you think he looks a bit like Dennis Wolf? I mean, for me, if you look at the structure, and you look at the wide shoulders and the length of the waist and the actual overall, he reminds me of Dennis Wolf, and his thing is he's as big as Dennis Wolf as well, almost. I think.
And you would never know. William Martins doesn't sound like a very Brazilian name, does it?
Yeah.
I was thinking, was he adopted?
Nice guy though. He's a cool guy. I like him. I enjoyed interviewing him, and I've interacted with him a little bit since. And but I think he's like I said, because he did Puerto Rico and Portugal, and he didn't, because he was out of the top 6 in Puerto Rico. Portugal was obviously a European show, so it didn't get a huge amount of attention and spotlight on it. So I think this one, I hope he does, because he's doing 3 or 4 shows. He's doing Indy, he's doing the New York Pro, he's doing the Arnold Brazil, obviously, and I'm sure he's doing another one as well. I forgot which show it was now.
Are they doing Cali? Oh, maybe Toronto.
Cali. He's doing Cali. Yeah, he's doing Cali. Yeah. So I think he's gonna be quite a talking point over this next few weeks as these shows transpire. Cali, New York, Indy, not in that order, obviously, but I think he's gonna, if he's made the improvements and he gets a few good placings, I think, and he might actually get enough points as well to get to the Olympia, maybe even get a win. So I think he's going to be a talking point of 2022. I'm
glad to hear he's doing Indy, New York, because I'll be there for MD for both of those shows. So nice. I'll get to see this guy in person for the first time. Next up is someone you've seen compete. I think you've had him on your show. 22 years old, Amer Omeragic from Germany. He was 4th place at the Romania Muscle Fest last fall and 7th place in Prague. 22 years old. My goodness, he's a big kid.
Hang on, you just missed out his 2nd place at the Big Man Weekend to Angel Calderon. I was at Romania and I was at Big Man Weekend because I did the live stream with Lauren. And he got 2nd to Angel Calderon. And it was, he could have won that. I mean, he was 2nd in an open pro show at 22 years old. Wow. That's a talking point.
That's amazing. So, yeah, physique-wise, I saw a few shots of him. Very, very balanced physique, good amount of mass. I imagine he's going to be getting even bigger as time goes by. And conditioned, man. He's already figured out the conditioning aspect at 22 years old. Some guys take another 20 years beyond that to figure it out. So, looking forward to see what the young gun here has to, what he can pull off.
I'm sorry, don't we talk about me? I had him on and I couldn't believe. Sometimes when you speak to someone 30, 40, 50 minutes, I got a real sense of this kid's work ethic. He is so young and he seems to have such a good head on his shoulders. I don't get why these kids so young are so sort of, they, like I said, they got a good head on their shoulders, and he's so driven. And Chris Aceto, really, who's prepping him, he seems to have a lot of faith in Amir, because I think because at the end of the day, that what he's done with Amir, he's done very, very quickly. And somebody needs to be quite obviously easy to work with to get those kinds of results that fast. So Amir, he's deadly from the back. His skin conditioning is incredible. His front lat spread, he's kind of not weak in any pose, really. And I think it's almost like even before he's 25, this guy could be a world beater. He kind of already is. If he's getting 2nds and 4ths in these big pro shows,
right?
And he's getting first call out in these shows. He'll push Raphael and William and Sibu Sisu. He's but it'd be interesting because I saw the pictures. Because I messaged him yesterday. I got a message off him this morning. I haven't responded to it yet. But I was saying, mate, I said, great to see you doing more shows. I said, because, and I saw the progress pictures and his conditioning is just absolutely insane. And good quality, good separation. I think he's going to be one to watch over this next couple of years. And it's just to think in 5 years, he still won't be even anywhere near 30 years old.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. It's incredible.
Yeah. And you just mentioned him from South Africa. Sibusiso Kotelo. I only see him competing in 2019 where he did Chicago Pro. I remember him there, 9th place. The Monster Zim show, which is the Korean show, at 10th place. And he got, looks like 11th place, the Vancouver show. That was the one that Hadi Chupan won. So to your knowledge, has he not competed since 2019?
No, because he had the, oh, hang on. Something's flagging up in my head. Was it 2020? I can't remember. But obviously the pandemic happened and South Africa was really, really strict on, it was like Australia, it was really like draconian. Yeah, I had him on Globe Muscle a few weeks ago, and he turned pro at the Sean Roden Philippines show in the end of 2018, November 2018. Yep. So he didn't waste any time in competing in 2019. Got a few, got some okay placings. But he's back, and I forget how much bigger he said he's going to be. But you know what? It wasn't until I saw there's a side-by-side, like a video next to a picture that was posted on Bodybuilders Without Borders on the Instagram page. Yep. And it's another one that where the magic just all of a sudden started happening in like a couple of weeks out. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He looks so good. It's what I've been I wanted to see it 4 or 5 weeks out. And I was thinking, mate, you're leaving it kind of late here. But the video I saw that he posted, the latest posing video, he looks so full, so crisp. And and he's got his coach with him as well. He's brought him with him, his trainer. Oh, right on. The guy's name now. What's his name? Lotter. Jack Lotter. Oh. Yes, because same last name as Lauren.
I was going to say, that's the only reason I remember.
So, because Lauren was seeing if she's related. She was on checking with her family. So anyway, but yeah, no, he's, I expect to see big things. I think he could be potentially the shock, because this is a guy that I was raving about, and he's still only in his 20s as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he's, oh God, is he 26, 27, 28, something like that? He's like, late, he's younger than Raphael.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's younger than Raphael. So, this guys, and I've been raving about him for a couple of years, but he never really kind of delivered, but I think I've got a feeling he will in this show. I think we're going to see the kind of potential that that I saw in him a couple of years, 3-4 years ago. Yeah. But he's very, 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 hate to say it, but very, dedicated. But if you actually, he's got like teams of, like a proper pro athlete. He does all the infrared treatments and all this, and he's got, go watch the episode, because he talks about like his life is literally dedicated to being like a full-time athlete, and he has his own osteopath and massage therapist, but here's a guy putting everything into this.
Wow. So he's doing in South Africa what you would think you have to go to Kuwait to live the immersion lifestyle of a pro bodybuilder. Well,
nice guy as well. Nice guy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. And only other person on this list that looked vaguely familiar was Victor Hugo Boff from Brazil. Most of these people are from Brazil. You had seen him at some point on Instagram or something, and had some kind words to say about him, I remember.
Yeah, Miguel Chains was raving about him. It was on a few weeks ago, because I said, well, because obviously I've been trying to really track what's been going on in Brazil with the explosion. You've got like Ramondino, Marcelo, and Franciel Matas, and Lucas Coelho in the 212. And, I've been trying to kind of find out and dig a bit more to see what is going on in Brazil, because it's absolutely exploding. So I wanted to find out. I said, look, is there any other guys that are really, really good, or girls and stuff? And he said, no, Vita's very good as well. So I checked him out on Instagram, and he's very well put together, very thick, he's kind of got those crazy lines that you want to see on like one of the top pros. He's got a crazy structure, like wide shoulders, tiny little, very narrow waist. And, but interesting to see how he stacks up, because like I said, I know very little about this guy. All I know is that people in Brazil rate him. So it'd be interesting to see if he's one of these guys that is not just making up the numbers, but is actually really competitive, even against the 4 or 5 guys that, you and I are pretty much certain are going to be the top 5.
Yeah. It's a cool thing when a show is this, I hate to say small, but Arnold is always an invitational show, and they do keep it small. They don't want to have, scads of people all over the stage where people get ignored. So there's only 9 people in the show. That means everybody's going to get a really good look and a comparison. So, so the rest of their lineup: Thiago Linzadao, Alan Ramino Bonadimon, Marcelo Pedro da Cruz, and Eduardo Rodriguez from Paraguay, not Brazil, Everybody else is from Brazil. So they're all going to get it. They'll all get a chance, if not to stand next to Rafael, they're going to get, you can't have more than 2 call outs with only 9 guys, right? So can't have 3 call outs. We have 3 guys. So there is going to be a pay-per-view. We'll put the link to that in the description for this. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to watch it yet. It's but it's going to happen.
I will.
You're going to watch it? Okay. All right. If you'll watch it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll be interested because because like I said, it's I'm kind of interested to see like Amir, Sibusiso, and I want to be, because I'm interested to see if it's just going to be a walkout. You know, it's basically everyone's fighting for second place and Rafael's the easy winner, because I don't think this is, you can't assume that Rafael's going to come in and steal this, because on paper, yes, statistically, he's got the best track record competitively. Yeah. But if William Martin has really improved, if Sibusiso really is bringing what I'm seeing on this Instagram videos, you know, I mean, theoretically, he could win this. Someone like Sibusiso, if he gets next to Rafael, and Rafael either hasn't brought it, or Sibusiso has made such incredible gains, or William Martins has really brought the back up and he's just completely dwarfs Rafael, or Amir just brings such a complete, detailed, shredded package. You know, I mean, all 4 or 5 of those guys, they're all interchangeable. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice and I'm quite, in a way, I'm quite glad that an Akeem didn't kind of come in at 90% and take it, you know, or, you know, or one of the guys from the Arnold just decided to prep a few extra weeks, or like a Samson or, you know, Nathan jump in or something. And I'm quite glad to see that it's kind of those second level guys that, you know, so it means the show will be competitive, and I don't think it'll be predictable. So I quite like these shows sometimes when it's like this, when it's not just automatically a foregone conclusion, and it's not a foregone conclusion that Rafael will win this.
Right. And I mean, 6 out of the 9 competitors are from Brazil. So this gives them a little chance to have more exposure and attention than I think if they were in some other show. A lot of these guys, if they say they jumped in New York Pro and there's 20 open men or 25 open men, it's easy to get lost in a lineup like that, especially with you have big names from America. So I'm glad these guys are going to really have a chance to shine in their own country, because, you know, Brazil deserves it. They're really coming on strong, and this is really a show for them, celebrating their rise, because this country it's crazy. Just a couple of years ago, all we were talking about was Middle East, and now it's Brazil.
Do you know what I'm really happy to see? I'm happy to see that, because for me, the two most exploding countries right now for bodybuilding in all the divisions are Brazil and Egypt. And now they've both got, you know, the KO squad in Egypt, and obviously got Ramy over there. And then you've got the Arnold Brazil, and obviously got the Q8 Pro as well, because Q8 obviously is so, you know, it's, you know, we know what's been going on there for the last decade, longer. So it's nice to know that they've actually got good promoters with good shows, you know, for those guys a chance to, not just the guys on stage, but at the trade stands, and the chance, because like the Brazilian supplement companies, as you've heard, as you know, are really looking after their athletes. And it's nice to know that those fans now will get an opportunity to meet the Marcelo De Angelis and the Ramandino, because everyone's going to be there. So it's regardless of whether there's 9 guys on stage or not, that show is going to be very successful. It's going to be very big. And I hope next year, I hope that there's a few more numbers in the shows, because, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of competitors, you know, on prep at the moment, you know, with the New York Pro and the Indie and all that. And it's, I think they've missed a trick by jumping into this one. So hopefully next year you'll get a few guys saying, well, I'm just going to do these 3 or 4 of these shows, and I'm going to make sure the Arnold Brazil is one of them.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, shout out to Tamer and Tarek El Gundy for putting the event on, because Miguel Chain and others have said the biggest change in Brazil, the reason we're seeing all these athletes is because they finally came down there and started making these shows. Like, there's the Arnold Amateur with this. It's a chance for them to turn pro. He said, we've always had so many great athletes, but you never knew about them because it was almost impossible. They couldn't, like Rafael said, I had to do the South American championships. I had to do Arnold Amateurs in other countries. I couldn't win. I couldn't get my own my pro card in my own country. And that's changed. And that's why we're seeing all these fantastic athletes in all the divisions finally coming out of there.
I think the 2 you're going to have to watch out for from Brazil, I think Horse MD, Marcelo De Angelis, because he's doing classic. I think he's going to be top 5 Olympian. He hasn't even made his pro debut yet. That's how confident I am. Yeah. I think if if half of what I see on the pictures and stuff translates, he will be at the Olympia, and I think he's going to be a top 6 guy this year. And also Lucas Coelho, the 212.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a 212 Kai Green, that guy. I think he's coming up very, very fast. And I think because he won Portugal, and I think he got 9th at the Olympia.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw some guest posing at 4 weeks out, and he looked phenomenal. He's really improving fast. I think he's another guy to watch out for. And also, wouldn't you love half of the fans and followers that Miguel Chain has as a bloody media guy? Because I get spit on in the streets when I don't. But Miguel, I mean, like, if you look at the comments when I put them on Global, it's like most of them are for him, not the athlete. It's like they love him. So I like the fact that I would love to have 5% of the appreciation that guy.
Yeah, we can dream, Giles. We can dream. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
You just need to learn Portuguese and get your butt over there, I guess.
Oh wow, it's incredible! It's incredible. But Brazilian bodybuilding, man, it's just like I said, it's been a real positive in the last couple of years to come out of to come through bodybuilding. Really, you know, it's nice to see that the supplement companies, the media, you know, and the events are all being well supported and now, like you said, it's just allowing all that talent to come through now and be seen, because the talent was there, we just never got to see it. So you know, like I say, good media, good supplement company sponsors, and like I said, the people will come forward, the talent will come through, and it's nice to see it finally kind of getting not just its recognition, but it's kind of really starting to flourish now. And I think this is only the beginning. And I think you know, like guys like Ramondino, and like I said, they got the wellness Olympia champion. I mean, wellness has really been a big thing for Brazil, because once that was a let out of Brazil, I mean, look at the international tidal wave of popularity that has caused in the industry. I mean, it's been so incredible for the sport.
Yeah, and they're still the Brazilian athletes in wellness are still for the most part dominating that division. So it goes to show you how good they are. They do have a little head start on everybody else, but still, they're phenomenal. Well, that's it. That'll wrap it up, guys. Check out the pay-per-view. The link's going to be in the description. And that is happening this weekend in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Arnold Classic. And we'll see if Rafael, the heavy favorite, walks away with it, or if it's going to be one of these other gentlemen that we talked about. Anything can happen in pro bodybuilding. We've seen it many, many times. So thank you, Giles Tiger Thomas. Appreciate it. Check out his show. What? Go ahead.
Sorry, you just said, please watch the Samson Dowda in studio, because he drove the length of England in his EBM. I think he just wanted to drive his new car. I think it's just that. He drove the length of the country to come to make sure he got in that studio to give me, I mean, I'm so grateful to give me absolute gold. I think out of all 140 episodes, that is in my top 5. That's in my top 5 favorites, because like you love the Zach one, the Zach Khan in the studio, but
yeah.
I think there's so much, when you get somebody in front of you, you can do a good interview on Skype, but when they're in front of you and it's purely, you know, face to face, I think you just get those really, really special episodes, because they just give you so much more. So we're going to be following up with another in-studio guest. He's just confirmed. So that'll be out next week. But please check out the Samson and watch it all the way through, because there's a really inspiring story there of overcoming obstacles, and it's a really good way to kind of get to know one of the fastest rising stars in bodybuilding right now. Because Samson Dowda, I mean, he's just, you know, he's impossible to dislike, and he's a real sort of he's really kind of coming into his own this year, and it's just a really lovely interview, and I'm so glad he did it. So thank you. So please watch it.
I've started watching it, and it's I full disclosure, guys, I'm the one that picks the minis, the little clips that we do out of it, and I've already got a few, and I'm like, I can't have like 40 clips out of this show.
Yeah. Do you know what, Ron? Sometimes when I'm filming it, and then we get onto a subject, I actually think, oh, I'm just going to make a great minute. Yeah.
If they start crying, yeah, that's gold.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Lauren, did you get that? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to narrow it down. I can't have 40, 50 clips. I got to try to figure out, because they were all, everything I've watched so far, like people need to watch the whole episode, because he's I could listen to this guy talk for forever. He's just a cool guy.
And there's no bullshit with him. He's just really open and honest. And he's and like I said, if you followed the career of the career of his career in Korea in 2020, you know, and we know the story when he prepped for months and he couldn't get on the plane to go to the Tampa show. They wouldn't let him on because of COVID. And I mean, like, and he lost his job when he went to Korea. And you know, and if you actually, you know, and obviously John Meadows died because, you know, and he had real, like they said this time last year, he was having really bad confidence issues and he didn't know whether he wanted to even compete anymore. And now look what's happened. And watch it and check it out. It's amazing. I'm so happy with it.
Cool. So guys, that is MD Global Muscle. It's on this channel. Just go back a couple videos. You'll be able to find it. Great stuff. It's a good show every week, but you know, some weeks shine a little more strong than others. This was a special episode.
No stinky fish this week.
That was the week before. If you want to, that's actually, we made a mini out of that, the Stinky Fish Challenge. So thank you, Giles, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please hit the little bell to make sure you know when we have new videos. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave some comments for the algorithm, all that good stuff. We appreciate it, and we'll see you right here next time. Yeah, buddy.
Yay!